hello everyone. Today we have with us Dvajal Trivedi. So welcome Dvajal.
Hi Dhairya, hi Nischal, glad to be here.
Yeah. So we are also very glad to have you on our show. So Dvajal,
Thank you.
can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Dvajal Trivedi, as you know, third year electrical engineering student at Nirma University, doing a lot of stuff related to finance, entrepreneurship, content creation, and general adventurous things. Also, I love tea. You can offer me one someday. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, Dvajal. So Dvajal, my first question to you is that you came from a vernacular medium school into
Yeah,
English communicating university. So what was that phase transition and what were the difficulties which you faced at that time?
yeah. So, Nischal, till 12th, and even right now, I am good with communicating, as in, I can talk to anyone at any time. There is no such issue in that. But till 12th, I was only fluent in Gujarati and Hindi. I rarely spoke a line in English as far as I remember. But when I entered college, I had a good number of friends. But the problem was I was not confident enough to speak in a professional setting or give presentations in English language. So during the first semester of my college, it was really inferior uh, experience for me. But eventually, I developed confidence, and right now I am here. So I think it's a long journey and I have uh, achieved something to be proud of.
That's a great take. So coming to that confidence part, which you told that you build gradually, you build your confidence.
Yeah.
So what were the steps which you took to build that confidence and to be in the corporate world and to speak English fluently?
First of all, uh, whoever is from vernacular medium and listening to me, first thing I want to tell you that English is just another language and not mark of intelligence. First thing first. Apart from it, but then you should not also go into that path where people think कि अरे English क्या बोलने का अंग्रेजों का काम है अपनी language नहीं etc etc. The truth is in corporate world, in professional world, and as the our world is getting more and more globalized, English is the language which we all need to know and have to be fluent. One additional language can open a lot of doors for opportunities for you. So learning it is essential. Now coming to your question, Nischal, confidence is something that you do not build overnight, and you do not build without doing anything. So confidence, to build confidence, you have to take baby steps. The first step I took was that went first to give presentation in a class known as English and communication. So I was the first person from the batch who was giving
Hmm.
the presentation. Apart from it, I took participation in few events related to stock market, related to case study competitions, where we have to go on stage and present, or maybe talk to other people to buy and sell stocks. So those baby steps has helped me. Apart from it, in those competitions, I was talking to strangers. And when you are talking to stranger, it doesn't bother your self esteem. Like अगर गलत बोल दिया तो बोल दिया, वो मेरे को कल भूल जाएगा, मैं उसको कल भूल जाऊंगा. So
Exactly.
first step is that you start with strangers, or we have a lot of platforms on internet to do that, or you can go and do it in physical world as well. So start with that, and eventually you'll build confidence in yourself when you'll see yourself getting successful and speaking confidently. So that was my process.
Oh, okay. Amazing story. So now coming to my next question. So I came to know that you came with you run a idea, or I would say a firm that is known as Finbus. So can you
Yeah,
explain us
yes.
what is Finbus and how you came up with the idea of Finbus?
So Finbus was born 9 months back during lockdown, obviously. And as I said, I was from vernacular medium. So till my second year, which was last year, I was comfortable in speaking, in maybe writing as well, but I was not able to communicate complex ideas in simple words. So that is how I started Finbus, to write about finance in blog format, long content format. And I used to simplify various concepts of finance. There were two main reasons behind starting Finbus. First one was that I wanted to write and learn how you can deliver complex ideas. And second was one that when I was uh, sharing something related to finance, I got to learn more about it. So when you are sharing something with the world, you want it to be perfect and want it to be any problem proof. So you do more research, and in that process, you learn a lot.
Okay, that's
So that
great.
was how Finbus started.
Yeah, so my next question come threading this. So
Thank you.
you took science maths in 11th standard. So
Yeah.
from 11 till second year, so there was no commerce, no finance thing which we went through or which you went through. So how then in second year you get this idea of making a platform in which the finance was the main thing?
So from 11th, I was hate. I used to hate the subjects. Like I never liked the subject or the process how teachers teach us science in India. Then I entered the engineering college because that was the only option at that time for me. And in first year, I got IF in one subject. For those of you who don't know what IF means, that is you get ATKT or backlog in a subject. So I got IF in calculus subject. And after I cleared it, but I was searching for another path or another career option. And then I got exposed to stock market, and it was very fascinating for me because no one from my family used to trade or invest in stock market, and I was the first person to step into it. So it was some new arena for me, but I started watching some YouTube videos, reading some books, and that is how I got more and more information about finance. Now coming to your question, that how I developed financial knowledge despite of being from science background.
Mm.
So finance is not as hard as physics sounds. It is just simple logical concepts which you know, but you just have to fit in your mind. जैसे कि that is very simple, saying that you invest per month some amount and you will get a large return after 40 years. So the process is very simple, but building the discipline and that mindset that I have to invest every year is difficult. So it's more about your soft skills than your hard skills.
Okay, that okay. Yeah, that was new for me. So you talked about mindset, right? So
Yeah.
how you build that mindset? Can you emphasize on building your mindsets towards investing and in finance?
So there are few ways to do that. Maybe you are extremely dedicated to investing that. Second one is that you look at returns. There are so many SIP calculators on internet freely available. So you just enter the money which you want to invest per month and look at the returns after 40 years, 30 years, according to your current age. And you'll get to know that if you are investing 500 rupees per month for 40 years, you will get 1.5 cr, taking average return of 15% after 40 years. So when you know that you are getting that much money, you will definitely start investing. You should keep your end goal in mind, be it finance or be it startup or be it anything. The third way is that due to technological advancements, we have a lot of application available which will directly integrate with your bank account. So you just start SIP, turn on the option of auto pay, and they'll directly deduct those money, those investment money from your account on each date of every month. So in that sense, it's really easy to do. You just need to have that ambition to be financially free.
Okay. So at what age you had this idea of, getting financial freedom or, not taking and not borrowing any money from parents? So when was that strike? When did it happen?
It did click when I was in my first year itself. So maybe 17, 18 years old. And I just want to clear that there is nothing like financial freedom, which they sell in books. But uh, financial freedom rather means that you do or work what you want during the hours you want, and no one is there to control you. You will have to work, otherwise you'll go mad. But financial freedom is just a concept which sells good, so you buy into it, and initially you'll go for that, and eventually you realize that financial freedom means nothing but your own freedom to work.
That I never thought this definition of financial freedom. So yeah,
Correct.
amazing, amazing. Yeah. So now coming to your Finbus story. So you used to write vlogs and everything on a
Yeah,
daily
yeah,
basis. So
yeah.
it it
Not
it
on
will
daily basis, but on weekly basis.
yeah, okay. But yeah, for that you need a strong team, right? So how did you find a good team and how did you handle the team and what were the divisions which you made in order to get the maximum output from your Finbus team?
Sure. So initially, for first 6 7 months, I was the alone who was working, doing research work, writing the content, and uploading, marketing, etc., etc., everything. But then I realized that if we want to scale up, we need a strong team for that. So I recently hired few people as an intern, and they are working with me. Now we have three main divisions in our team. First one is that research team which just prepare content or content outline and pass it to content writers. Content writer is the second division, and one research person works with one content writer, and they both as a team prepare content pieces. And third team is growth and strategy team, so they basically come up with innovative ideas, strategy and strategies to increase our reach on various platforms. Now to get best outputs from your team is that you need to understand when people join you as a fresher or as a college person and doing internships, they want to learn, so you should give them tasks which they are not good at, and give them complete liberty to fail but learn. So best thing about startups and small companies is that they don't tell you the path, they just give you the output. जैसे कि मैं बोल दूंगा कि I want one content piece after 2 weeks, and they'll come up with topic, they'll do own research, they'll write by themselves and just send me to do and review. And
Yeah.
by doing themselves they learn, and after 2 or 3 content pieces they are at par with my level or better than me as well. So that
Okay.
is how you take best from your team.
Okay. So now, suppose that you didn't went to the English genre and you were from vernacular and you continued the
Yeah,
vernacular thing till now, till your Finbus started. Okay. So how did it affected your leadership skills if you didn't know English as that much, or you were from basically from
yeah,
vernacular
I got it.
medium?
I got
Yeah.
it. I got it. So Nishal, the problem with us is that we let me give you a scenario. When you are talking to your friends, you speak in Hindi or Gujarati, whichever your primary language is. But when you enter a professional room, you start speaking English. That switch is so fast that if I am talking with my friend and my boss came in, I'll suddenly start talking in English. So we have attached a language with intelligence, and that is how it is, and we need to follow that path. Otherwise you have to be extremely powerful or extremely influenceable to change the complete scenario. Now if I didn't knew a language, I won't like to say that I didn't knew English, but I would say if I didn't knew a language, then it would be difficult for me to communicate my ideas and gain that trust or gain that confidence from my team. That I completely accept. But there are few leaders who don't know English and they are doing a great job. So it completely depends on the context. If you are running maybe a mall, then you don't, you if you don't know the English, it's completely fine. जैसे कि बालाजी मसाला वेफर का ओनर है, he didn't know, उसको नहीं आता, but still he is doing phenomenally good job. So it depends on context. But if you want to be in social media sphere, want to be in content sphere, then definitely. you need to know it.
Okay, so we can connect like this. If you want to gain someone's trust, you have to be self-confident, and if you have to be self-confident, you have to know that language well. So we can connect like
Yeah,
this.
yes,
Okay,
100%.
okay, yeah, that's
Because
also.
people who speak Hindi or Gujarati are looked down upon. That is the fact of our reality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are not confident as much as the English speaker one. Yeah,
Because they know that the
they're lagging
default
somewhere.
language is English. So either they'll speak in broken English, which is fine,
Hmm.
or they'll try to speak in Hindi and they'll go downturn in their confidence. Both are not acceptable by society.
Exactly. But yeah, the broken English one is it's a better option, I guess, because by this we will gain confidence after some time, and that will help us. What do you think?
Actually, I disagree with that. Like
Okay.
you can practice in private, and like why you are speaking a language you are not comfortable in. But I do agree that some scenarios force you to speak in that language. Just like if you are in interview, I don't think many interviewers will approve you to speak in Hindi. So
Mhm.
it depends on the context.
Okay. Now coming back to your Finbus thing again and
Yes.
that growth strategy team, right? So how much emphasis will you give on making a community before starting something?
Okay. So again, it depends on the context. If you want to be into B2B section, like business to business section, community does not help you that much. But if you want to be in startup or B2C or maybe content sphere, then definitely building a community is the right way. I personally have good network on LinkedIn and WhatsApp as well. And that has helped me a lot during the initial days of Finbus. जैसे कि if I give you an example, first 3 months everything was run by my own accounts, LinkedIn account and WhatsApp messages. So all the readers we got in first 3 months were only from my network. And I,
Mhm.
if I go back, I'll definitely try to make a larger community to before starting Finbus. So
Mhm.
that is the best thing you can do to help yourself. Build
Yeah.
community, guys. Build communities.
Yeah, so I want to ask I'm very curious to know your LinkedIn journey. So can you please tell us what was your LinkedIn or any social media journey with Finbus or without Finbus? Anything?
Sure. So as soon as I entered the college, I had my LinkedIn account, but my LinkedIn account was slightly weird. It had no DP, no educational section, no subject line, जैसे कि एक dead account था LinkedIn पे. But after my second year, I like when I entered my second year, I realized that the power LinkedIn holds. So I set up my profile nicely and then started connecting with people which I want help from or favor from, and just started messaging them to get some help from them for internships or for just knowledge or anything. Then I realized that it will help me, but to a certain level. And then I started posting on LinkedIn, creating content for LinkedIn. And that is how I started my LinkedIn journey. And it's been maybe three two 3 years for LinkedIn, and I am at a good level, maybe 300 3,000 followers and etc.
Oh yeah, that's a huge amount. Okay, so yeah, I was surfing through your LinkedIn only, and I found that you did some internships in startups, universities, and in some corporates as well.
Yeah.
So, so how would you rate, or what will you give the advice to the juniors that which internship we should opt and which we should go on? Comparing the internships in startup versus internships in universities or in internships in some corporates.
Sure. So before giving that bifurcation, I'll want to tell you that every student should definitely do internships, no cap. You should at least do 2 to 3 internships in various domains to just get to know what you want to do in future. That is the best way to explore. Now coming to the different options we have. If you want to start your own startup in future or want to just work for startups, then start doing internship at startup makes sense. Also, when you have no experience, then corporates or universities might not accept you. So the best way is to gain some knowledge through startups and then move your sphere to maybe universities or maybe corporates. If your goal is to enter into MS, MBA, or do a corporate job. Now, if you want to pursue MBA, MTech, MS, anything related to masters, then you should definitely do one internship at universities. जैसे कि I did my internship at IIM Udaipur. And if you want to enter into corporate world, then definitely there is no choice but to do a corporate internship. It gives you that brand value of a company and some credibility also. So it depends on your future goals, how you want to go.
Yeah, that was a lot of knowledge and a perfect, a set on piece to that.
Thank you.
Okay, so we were like you were talking about the internships one. So majority of thing is like when we like juniors or like we join to the college, we start like dreaming to gaining like to just doing like going for a FANG company, like the big names, rather than if like we don't go for like startup internships and that. So what's your take on like moving like in startup and versus like this FANG company?
Sure. So, if you don't know basics about the field you want to enter, then startups are the best place to go. You will learn a lot of things. Jesse, I was doing my internship as a marketing head at a startup based in Ahmedabad, and there were, as I said, there were no formal protocols. Jesse, one day I was going to do tie-ups with shop, like we are into retail and hyper local delivery marketplace. तो आई आस्क माय फाउंडर कि क्या है, कैसे करना है, क्या कोई स्टेप बाय स्टेप प्रोसेस तो बताओ सर. देन ही टोल्ड मी कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता, यू जस्ट एंटर द शॉप and do it by yourself, learn it by yourself. And after I went to 2 3 shops, I know how to approach shopkeepers, and that learning curve is really important. Now if your goal is to enter FANG, then doing some internships or learning from courses or competitive coding, like you should learn. Now those learning paths could be different. Maybe it can be either through startups or through courses or maybe through some competitive coding. It depends.
So, like when Nishal asked the question about the mindset, and how you build mindset in investing. So, as you explain about how SIP, like if we take a small SIP and power of compounding, we imagine like if we are investing a low amount and then
Yes.
we get a huge amount. But like if we consider like market crash happened, so how you build maintain that mindset to control, like to invest continuously at that point?
So the answer of it is very simple. That when markets are down, you buy more. Simple. But I know listeners would not understand what I'm trying to say. Let me tell you that if you have business of apples, you sell apples. So current market price of apples is maybe 10 rupees per piece. And after 2 months, the market price has dropped by 2 rupees. Then so current market price at that time would be 8 rupees. So what you do? You simply buy more apples because you want to get more profit. That is same with stock market. When markets are down, you buy more. But now we have to also think about mindsets. When जब तुम्हारा पोर्टफोलियो रेट में जा रहा होता है, तो इट्स रियली इरिटेटिंग एंड यू वांट टू सेल इट एंड just be out of it. But here is a term for it which is known as coffee can investing. In that पहले क्या होता था कि पहले डिजिटल डीमैट अकाउंट एक्सेट्रा वो नहीं था. So people used to get a piece of paper on which they have written that कि ये stock के इतने खरीदे, basically a certificate of stock. तो वो लोग क्या करते थे, they used to take that certificate, put it in coffee can and वो ऊपर कहीं पे घर पे रख देते थे. And after 20, 30, 40 years, when they clean their house, they find those cans in which they found that certificates of stocks, and they were actually worth millions time more. So that is how it works. You just invest and forgot if you are going for long term.
Yeah, but on that same question, like as like they define like a market as in if we are investing in like a large cap, then there is a very low risk in investing. But
Yeah.
at the same point, like as we saw about it, Yes Bank, it was a large cap fund. Then also like incidentally, like that whole bank crashed. Then if I have invested some amount of money and I like follow this like a coffee can trick, and if I am not like actively about knowledge about how market is going on, that will be like invested goes to zero.
So here comes the concept of diversification. You cannot and you should not invest your whole money into one or two stocks. You should at least have diversified portfolio of 15 stocks of different industries. And the best way to do it is to go for mutual funds. So they take care of it. जैसे कि yes bank down जा रहा होगा तो mutual funds will sold that stock and buy another stock according to type of your portfolio, type of your risk appetite, etc. And also if you lose on one or two stocks, it completely okay. At the end you'll get a large profit if you do investing right and for long term. That is my philosophy and philosophy of many successful investors. You need to take those downturns for few stocks. That is part of it.
For like if I am a college student, so
Yes.
how I should start investing? How can I start my investing journey?
Yes.
Being
So
college.
first of all, if you are or any other college student listening to me, first thing I want to tell you is that invest. It doesn't matter how much you can invest per month, be it 100 rupees, 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, anything. दो पिज्जा कम खा लेना, but invest 500 rupees per month minimum. Now, in those 500 rupees and looking at the small amount of capital, we cannot buy stocks. जैसे कि if you go there and buy Reliance का one stock, it will cost around 2000, 2500 maybe. So best way to do is through mutual funds. And if you want to be on safer side, invest in index funds. Do nothing, just invest 500 or 1000 rupees in index funds per month. Simplest strategy.
Okay, so can you like explain what's index fund in very layman language for like if there are non-financial people listening to this?
Sure. So for that, I have to explain what index is. So in India, we have mainly two indexes. One is NSE ka index, Nifty, and Sensex hai BSE ka. So those two index basically mean that top 30 or top 50 companies, 30 in case of Sensex and 15 terms of Nifty. They basically represent top 30 or 50 companies of India. Those companies are like HDFC Bank, Reliance, TCS, Infosys, and we all know that those companies are here to stay. They are not going anywhere. They'll be here in India for next 50 years, maybe 100 years as well. And through that, they prepare an index. Usually in market, we use index to know how the movement of market is. So if your investment is or your investment is getting more returns than index, then you have done a good job. But if your portfolio is giving less return than index, then you have done a bad job. You have not outperformed the index. So basically index is just a statement or a scale on which we evaluate our investments, and just understand how market is happening and working in current time. And through that index, mutual funds prepare index funds where they give equal weightage to weightage, equal weightage to each stocks which is given in the actual index, and they invest your money accordingly to that bifurcation. And that is how investment index fund works.
As we got like how to do. So like every like from last like we also on like last 2 months starting January that the cryptocurrency boom that came like from that Bitcoin
Yes,
rises
yes.
and everything. So what's your take on like cryptocurrency?
The first problem why I have with this term is the currency at the end. It is not currency. Current cryptos are just an asset class similar to gold where you invest your money and hold it for a long term and get some return maybe. जैसे कि uh, the problem with crypto or for gold as well is that there is no underlying value under them. जैसे कि if current price of gold is 50,000 rupees, but how you evaluate them? How you calculate that price? In the case of real estate, you are getting some rent. In case of equity investing or stock market, that business is generating some revenue, generating some profit. But in terms of gold and in terms of cryptos, we both parties are just agreeing on a price. I am ready to buy Bitcoin at 35 lakh. The other party is ready to sell Bitcoin at 35 lakh. That is everything. So, crypto, my advice to youngsters is that don't get carried away by crypto. Only one or two of them are good, and all other 8,000 cryptos are just crap. Don't invest in them. If you want to invest, invest small part of your portfolio, maybe 10%, 15%, 20% into Bitcoin and no other crypto. Personally, I have not invested in crypto.
Yeah, like rather than falling into this crypto boom, but we can rather use everyone should like try to understand the concept behind it, like the blockchain one.
100%, 100%. So, like, if it doesn't matter whether you are investing in crypto or not, but you should definitely understand how it works and how the concept of blockchain and everything works. It is good to know because blockchain is here to stay, definitely.
Now that's next like generation. So at the end, like main question, how do you invest and how being like you are investing from long time. So how have you invested till now and your investment strategy?
Sure. So, whatever I have told in this whole podcast, I do the same. I invest in mutual funds for the fact that because I don't have that much capital to invest in individual stocks, neither I have that time to analyze hundred of stocks and just find two or three good stocks from them. I invest in three mutual funds. First one is the Sensex mutual fund, which is index fund. Second one is that infra and energy fund, which is the basically in union budget there were few good sentiments about that sector. That is why I've invested in it. And third one is the mid cap stock, mid cap mutual fund. So I invest in only mutual funds and I do some trading here and there on stock market. But I won't recommend everyone to do that. First learn about markets and then dive into trading and future and options and all those stuffs.
So coming to like and you are graduating next year. So what advice you will give for a newbies or a college juniors that are joining this year and like next year?
First of all, thank you for making me feel old. Secondly, the advice which I want to give to my juniors or anyone who is listening to this podcast is that find ways to learn what you want to learn. The whole essence of my journey was that I started writing because I wanted to start writing, learn writing. Also, I did one job during after my first year at a call center. They call it KPO, just to learn and improve my communication skills. So find ways to learn what you want to learn. Second advice would be explore. If you are in technical background or technical world, don't just stick to it. Explore sales, explore marketing, explore finance. do stuff, do video editing, play sports, do everything you can in those 4 years or 3 years of your college life. And the third advice would be invest, because I am from Finbus, so I'll definitely tell you to invest and save. Don't spend on useless things. Be simple in terms of your clothing, in terms of parties and etc. And save a good amount of money and invest it. You will not regret it.
Yeah, that's a great advice to go on. Thank you so much, Dvajal, for joining, and we had a great time over here. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishchal. Thank you, Daria.
Thank you.